Second,
I'll second that.
Marvin,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Minutes of the March 17th meeting and minutes of the March 31st special meeting. I think we can do them as one motion. I need a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll move to approve the prior meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman and fellow board members, I know this was all approved, I'm not questioning the approval, but on the March 31st meeting, a wage was chosen, and I guess I would like to know how that value was derived. And the reason I'm asking the question is because, as I read it, we're recommending getting a recorder, not a deputy recorder. And that annual salary, or that salary that was mentioned seems low. It's lower than most of our deputies in the courthouse. Let me finish, please. So I just wanna know how it was derived, because the recorder is going to be assuming all the responsibilities of that office. So I'm wondering if that, how that was derived, and if we want to consider looking at that. That's all I have, sir.
The wage was derived from the, I don't know the exact term for it, but it was do I have that?
It was probably with your last meeting stuff.
It was derived from an average of what the rest of the state pays. We had a spreadsheet on it.
What scale? Because that pay scale has 1 through 20, depending on experience and so forth. So the average of what the other counties are paying, I understand that, but was it the average of 1, 2, 3, or was it average of halfways up the scale?
It was, at hiring point, starting at a wage 1. That was the lowest. The board had approved looking at hiring between a 1 and a 3 on our salary survey. And that was the dollar amount, because it's set at a salary amount at this point.
Mhm.
So it was divided down into
Oh.
making it a dollar amount. So it was between a step 1 and a 3 on the salary survey that Wayne is holding up.
Okay,
And that
Marvin.
was the minimum amount, it depends on experience as to what the actual pay would be.
Correct. This was the minimum we set. The wage could start out higher.
Right.
Thank you.
That's, okay, I caught what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Yep, no,
Yeah,
it could
no.
be higher.
Yeah, Marv, you probably
Thank you.
thought it was locked at that amount.
Yes,
but
I did.
no.
It's
No.
not, it has an opportunity to be adjusted,
Okay,
depending
'cause
on
it-
experience.
Because there are 20 steps. And if it was
Yep.
I got you. Thank you very much.
And
Answered my question
yeah,
very well.
it says with the minimum wage set at 20.
Right, Marvin thought we set it at 24.54, and that was gonna be it.
No.
Yep.
I
Thank you for
finally-
clarifying.
Yep. Okay, any other questions on the minutes? Hearing none, Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Review the bills. Scrambling.
Yeah, you answered it very well.
I caught what you were getting at, but it took a minute.
And then we talked about they would go to salary once they assumed the position, so.
I probably fingered through it 3 times.
I'm,
I thought
Doing
it was
this
like
a lot.
full page of
it's
wages.
because I was snorkeling. And even though that part wasn't underwater, but my back was all, I learned that the sun, the water kind of magnifies it, even though you're under the water, you wear a t-shirt. So luckily I wasn't out any longer.
Yeah, I snorkeled the one time and, interesting. And like,
The backs of your legs get sunburned.
and I didn't really feel like too nervous, but I was just like trying to catch my breath. I'm like, okay, just relax.
They gave me the snorkel mask that I was using was a public one.
Gotcha.
And I just could not work. It just wouldn't work. Finally, I just had to hold my breath. Well, we got in the boat, went to a new spot. And my brother snorkels a lot. He said, let me use your mask. Give you mine. He was in the water like 5 minutes. He says, this is a piece of blank. He says, I'm getting back in the boat. He says, you got a bad mask. First he kept saying it was my mustache and stuff, you know, but.
Right.
Approve the bills. I wanna write down this number here. I'm being slow. I'll catch up to you, Gene.
No, you're fine.
There you go. I'll get this out of your way.
Once again, I will sign the vouchers as I get them. If you have a question on one, I'll hold it aside.
So how does it work with us in the extension? Do we 50/50 on that? So,
Or
where-
I think
where's,
it's 60/40.
okay, so like if he goes to a training, some of those we pay or all those we pay?
No, that we pay.
Okay.
It's 60/40, I believe,
As
on
salary?
the benefits and salary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That isn't so bad. There's a bunch of paper ones for the newspaper, so.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
This Flieger gate lock, is that for that gravel pit? I'm assuming? The reason I'm asking that, it's mostly interest, curiosity, is I've asked the gate, or the county, we have that gravel pit right beside Highway 31. It's Joel Flieger's, part of Joel Flieger's and
Right.
other people.
Yeah.
I said, well, how do you guys control the access in and out? But I see now that there's a gate lock was put on there.
Oh, that's
Because,
that's how you control it, huh?
yeah, well, I think we should, and I'm glad that they did.
Oh, boy.
It's,
Hopefully there wasn't tons disappearing.
yeah, you know, it keeps people a little more honest, you know.
Well, I suppose Joe isn't alive no more, so. I'm sure you gotta watch that quite a bit.
I was gone for a week. We had a couple of pretty serious fires in the state. Someone wanna update me on those?
Well,
Anything close to our county?
the one over at Cross
One-
Ranch.
Grass Ranch?
That, and then the one over here on 8 was awful close, north of Marshall. That's just west of me,
Okay.
and,
Oh, that was very,
and, I believe that was electrical fire, but they had several departments out there and were able to put it out.
even though it was so windy that day.
That was terrible windy, yeah.
Mhm.
So that one was pretty close to the county line.
Prior to me leaving, I went out to use a grinder on the pasture to cut off a piece of steel, and I hit my grinder, and I went, wait a minute. Oh, this should be all right now. Wait a minute. And then I went and got a bucket of water, because I had it the first time, and I watered it down, and I stood there for like 8 or 10 minutes and watered it some more. I don't think there was, but it was very nice that Carmen came in and gave us that warning, because it clicked right away. And yesterday, I was out with my four-wheeler checking fences. I'm not sure that that's safe.
Yeah.
The grass is so dry.
Mine's from California, so I know it's safe. It's got a fire, it's got so many components on there that it, so I says if it's safe for California, you gotta be safe from North Dakota.
Well, I'm concerned. I've never seen it this dry.
It's dry.
just step on it and it turns to powder.
So many, what's gonna be sad is not just the prairie that's gonna burn, it's gonna be the haystack that's downwind of that prairie fire.
Yeah, there might be some hay feeding done during the summer this year.
So we pay a fee to Endrin and then they reimburse us every time somebody purchases stuff off of it?
So we pay an annual fee.
Yeah, it's credit card services, it says. It's just ironic, but.
I didn't hear your question. What was your question?
So Endrin, you know, charges us $30, and then every time we do like recorder fees and stuff like that, a lot of those
Mhm.
are reimbursed from Endrin, so. I'm sure it's fine, but it's like, why couldn't you just deduct that out of what you pay us?
Wouldn't be a trail, boss.
That's true.
I'm gonna go back and look again, so.
Maybe we could have Carmen come in and give us a little report on all the fires that have been in the area.
If she's here.
Yeah, if she's here. How can we get a hold of her?
I can buzz down there and send you on that to you.
Whenever, we can just throw her in here in between.
Or would you-
See what's, ask her what she would have available.
Hi, Carmen. Would you be able to come up in just a little bit here and give the board an update on just the fires or around the state and that kind of stuff? Or the charges? What do you think? How much bills we got? Maybe like 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, she can.
Yep.
Whenever.
Just a quick update on the fires and the
Yeah.
dryness in the county. That kind of thing.
We can even interrupt this if we need to.
Okay.
We can interrupt this.
Yeah, yeah, it's just, as far as I'm concerned, yes. We get sort of an official report on fires then. Direct matter, these
Who's this,
folks who, not the-
Travis Fry
Okay,
guy.
and so,
I don't know. Suspicious individual.
um, the new AEDs. That in here anywhere?
No, I took it off. We'll talk about it next meeting.
Okay,
Need to get the ducks in a row.
no, that's fine. Seeger.
No, it was a grant.
Travis,
Hey,
hard knuckle control gloves, is that for
Pardon?
people?
Even better.
Yeah.
We didn't pay for 'em.
They're kinda cool though,
Yeah.
so, they got like,
almost
Things on
scary,
the fingers
almost.
and-
one of those things, oh, you
I
can't
haven't seen them,
hardly
so.
get away.
We did some zip lining, they put a real heavy letter right here, cause you know, that was a break. Oh.
a lot of confidence in one's grip strength.
Yeah. Shanna, this Youth Bureau one, looks like we've always done this yearbook advertisement. It says, as in past years, each patron's name will list indicated for each increment of the donation. And is this a donation or is this an expense?
I would say it's an expense.
Because we can't give donations. It's written on there. I would like you to hold that one, Gene. Please.
Mhm.
April seventh. June second, it'll be 60 days from now.
Yeah.
Deals got done at the landfill.
Yep. That was good time, I thought. It went quicker than we thought it would.
Oh, I got, yeah,
Because we were talking about
Yep,
concerns, so
yep.
yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
Hi, Jessica.
Morning.
We have a very easy question for you right off the bat. Are you ready to start the day?
Sure.
Okay, give her that donation money, please. I'm not sure if that's a donation or if that's a bill. The bottom line is we appreciate this donation.
Okay. Carmen, can you give us a quick 5-minute update?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
That's fine, there's, rumors, we can sit here and guess about fires, and
Right.
we just wanted
Okay.
you to,
I know I talked to Craig Askham, a couple of days ago, Monday morning. Anyway, he said that the county right now isn't in a drought 3, and the worst we can get is a 4. So if we continue with this dry weather and don't get any rain, then he's looking, it's only gonna get worse. So right now, yeah, the drought thing is really bad. As fires, yeah, anything that starts is going, but luckily, we haven't had anything too major. I know Oliver County had that one call, oh, that was pretty bad, but that was Oliver County. And that burned over, in between Sanger and, the Cross Ranch. And what it did, I don't know how it got started, but, it burned quite a bit. And then it burned the train bridge. But the thing that saved them there was the wind was blowing straight from the west and blowing it toward the river. So then they had it contained within a couple hours, and they just had to watch it.
okay?
Did
But that was the same night that Medora started on fire, Wishick had a fire, and I think there was one in Tioga that started that night.
Did any of the buildings at Cross Ranch get harmed?
No,
Okay.
no, it didn't actually make it to Cross Ranch, and it was like a half a mile south, so.
Yeah, when I talked to the park ranger, he said that they actually stopped it before it got to the park, actually, but he said
Yeah,
it was
and the-
getting close.
Fire departments that were involved were Washburn, Oliver, and then Mandan Rural was called in,
Okay.
which was really good. We don't have any radio communications down there. When those guys are down there in that river, the dispatch has nothing, so they have to call in. But luckily, we did have communications, they got people called out right away, state was aware of it right away. That's the thing, the state fire department, state is monitoring all these fires, so as soon as we have anything that goes on in the county, I let state know, so the state fire knows what's going on, and then they can be ready to help when they're needed, which is
Okay.
really a great resource. So, but other than that, there've been a couple little fires, but nothing that one fire department got called out to, they took care of it, and the only thing I can think is like a couple of those just in-town things.
I just want to mention and give you a kudo here. You gave an update to the last meeting I was at, and I was gone for a while, but yesterday, or just before I left, I went on a vacation. I went out to cut some steel with a grinder in the pasture. And as soon as I hit that grinder, I thought, Carmen said not to do this. So, good, it clicked. So, your messages worked.
Did you have sparks?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Then I
you
went,
stopped, right? Just like Gene is not gonna burn flax.
Right.
You're not gonna spark it up in the pasture.
so I went and got a bucket of water and I watered it, and then I went back and checked it twice to make sure that, I doused it really good, but
Okay,
there was no fire or nothing, but I didn't want to be,
not toilet.
yeah.
Well, it's quiet.
Okay, just since we have you on the floor, I've been asked by a couple city residents, does our burn ban in the county cover the city, or do the cities implement their own burn bans?
They implement their own burn ban.
And just a quick note on that, the Hazen City meets tonight, and I saw on their agenda, it's a city burn.
Okay,
That'll be discussed.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that since this is recorded and people can watch it, to know
Yes.
that our burn ban does not include the cities, they implement their own. They can adopt the county's
Yes,
burn
whatever they
ban.
wanna do within their city limits, they can do. And I did email that out to the city auditors when we put it in place, just so that they were aware of it. But yeah, I think it's good to tell people.
Okay,
So, anything
okay,
else?
thank you.
Yes.
So other than that, we've had no other fires in our county?
No,
Okay,
not in our county.
all right. Thank you.
So, yes.
Thank you, Carmen.
Okay. What was? I'll save it for later.
Was it a pretty good report off the cuff?
This one's fine.
This one's
Was it a pretty good report off the cuff?
Right?
To the word, but really it's an advertisement, so.
Okay, I'm good.
I wanna be out of order here, so Gwen can.
I'll let her know it was your fault.
No, you did.
It went through 4 people and guess
You tell her it
what?
was my fault.
We're gonna have to sit.
You done already?
Oh, yeah,
You're good. Oh, yeah.
the Verizon helped me out, it was only that thick.
Yeah. Wayne sets the pace.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
In West River, yeah.
Gotta have those patronage dividends.
There you go.
Oh, this was the landfill.
Yeah. I just don't like, I'm like surprised they got it taken care of,
Probably heard our comment.
perhaps.
This was
At
abstain,
any rate, it's good as done.
so it's abstains, but mine doesn't have, right?
He's got to update his spreadsheet.
Yep.
So we handled that well.
I gave her that. Office, please.
Jessica, I hate to be a pest, but we have a bill here to pay off Western Steel Builders. There's a century code about the process of who has to approve to pay off a contract. I don't have it with me.
We
Do you?
didn't have a contract.
Did we?
It was a
No,
quote.
what was it called?
Yeah.
We didn't sign no contract.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we had, was it 2 or 3 quotes on that? Two.
Two.
Two. yeah.
Two different ones. Well, and the one had a, if you want this extra stuff.
You're in charge.
done too.
So how are you on?
9:30, our, resolution to amend zoning ordinance for wind energy facilities.
Good morning. This is from the Planning and Zoning Board. It's zoning case 5075, and it's proposed amendments to the Chapter 3 zoning district agricultural conditional use wind energy facilities. And Planning and Zoning had made the proposed amendments. Basically, they redid the whole wind energy facility ordinance. And you guys had, Jen had sent you guys both the old ordinance and the new ordinance, I believe.
I know I got the new one, but,
Is that-
my thoughts on
wanna
this
see
is
it?
that perhaps we should table this because the state legislature is still
I don't need it,
working
so-
through some of this, and I just wanna make sure that we include any parameters that they might have in with ours, so I have concerns about making any movement on this until we know exactly what's going on with the state. And then I also want some more time to review and go through it, cause it has, I think mine was 15 pages long,
Yeah,
so it's quite extensive.
they did do
And,
that.
and perhaps to be able to work with McLean County and maybe some other counties, just to make sure we have a uniform one that goes across the counties, is my purpose.
Mr. Chairman, I'll give you guys a nutshell, since this was started before. We had the moratorium put in last May, and then it got sent back to planning and zoning that created a committee to review this. Ours was a pretty extensive one to begin with, but this is completely reworked. The committee went through, had a lot of comments, thoughts and whatnot, kicked it back to me. I used those in conjunction with the model ordinance from the PSC, as well as a sampling of wind energy ordinances across the nation, predominantly out east, to try to tailor into those concerns and issues raised by the committee. and ended up with this here. And it's quite extensive. I don't know how many times, it's been through at planning and zoning, tweaking. There was a public hearing held at that point. I think there's been input from the beginning of last year, lots of things, so lots of considerations. And you might have that old one and find parts of it in the new, but it really doesn't look like it did before. So, and yeah, I think legislature's a couple weeks out yet. There's been a lot of talk of things down there, how that's gonna play out, I guess we don't know, but, this is the result of months of work, and consideration.
Mr. Chairman, I want to add to, in agreement with both comments. Liza, I totally agree with you completely. And Jessica, all the work that was put in, I was on this committee. And even after the committee, it went through quite a few meetings. And I think it's, in my opinion, it's premature to approve this ordinance until our present legislator completes their session. They may have some rulings that come out through the PSC that may override some of the ordinances or what we put in there. So I think it's premature to approve this until our present legislative session is over. And on that end, I'm going to move that we table the wind farm ordinance until June 2nd meeting.
I'll second that.
And that's what, I just reiterate what everyone has said, the information I was given, it'd probably be good to wait until after the legislative session is done before we make a final movement on this. Any other discussion? Okay, motion's been made to table this until our legislative session is done, so we don't have.
No,
an-
June 2nd
I
meeting.
said
he said.
until June 2nd.
Oh, okay.
I might have a conflict with that date. I have a meeting in Bismarck on June 2nd. So I was gonna see if we could possibly move the meeting to the 1st of June.
You can read,
Can we just say the first meeting in June? Yeah, that would work. My meeting isn't in concrete yet for
Oh.
June 2nd. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be June 2nd and 3rd,
Okay.
but they're still kind of up in the air, you know, with
Okay.
the whole COVID thing. So
Yeah.
can we just say first meeting?
So
in
first
June?
meeting in June?
I would take
Okay,
that
thank
change.
you.
The reason I picked June, our session should be done in 3 weeks, I think. However, if this and some other things, if they go into a special session, I wanted 60 days. That's why I picked June 2nd. So the first meeting in June, I'm happy with that.
We can revisit it in first meeting in June if the session's not done yet. Yes, we can
Yeah.
move it. Okay, I think we understand the motion. Marvin,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Motion tabled until,
Thank you for all your work on that, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet.
do you want this back?
Absolutely.
Gonna need a copy.
Did Wes still want to speak? He's on
Wes,
the-
did you still want to speak on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you're here.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, good morning.
Morning, Wes.
My request was just for one area of this ordinance, and that was to maintain the 5-year renewal. It's part of this legacy where boards change, corporate boards change, county commissions change, and having a company come in every 5 years, review any problems, it is just part of that legacy planning. And so when it does get to the point of being acted on and accepted, I would encourage the board to accept the whole ordinance as it is. I do have a question of the commissioners. I was on the phone quite a bit last night. 2 wind companies I visited with, their contacts, they spend their time at the North Dakota legislature. They know of no rulings by the Public Service Commission that are upcoming. The Public Service Commission does not act without legislative approval. I'd like somebody to tell me what bill the Public Service Commission is going to act under at the legislature in relation to wind. Do any of you have that? John Phillips makes a statement in an email, but he gives no context. Folks, here's the deal. Coal is a commodity. And unless you have a manufacturer, coal-fired generating plant, that can manufacture it and produce an end product, electricity, that can't be sold, you're not gonna preserve coal. Okay? You can extend the moratorium forever. It's not gonna make any difference. Today, coal generation is producing the same amount of megawatts that they were in 1981, which means as renewables increase, coal-fired generation is going to decrease. And there's a reason for that. Back about 2002, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission put into effect a rule that said, if you are a generation transmission company and you have a switch yard, you are obligated to provide an interconnect agreement to a renewable energy source. And a really close example of that is drive down 200, and when you get to the old Stanton Station, GRE station, look to the south. That 345 kV line is being rebuilt with larger H-frames, and that's gonna bring over 400 megawatts of wind directly into the Coal Creek switch yard. And that's gonna happen in 2021. That takes 400 megawatts away from one of those units up there. So here's what I see as the problem. You're not gonna stop this at a county level. We're not gonna stop this at a state level unless someone like Senator Jessica Bell puts another moratorium or tries to put a moratorium statewide on wind farms. What you're gonna see happen is exactly what's happening in Emmons and Logan County. The wind companies are going outside of the county, they're building the wind farms, and they're gonna ship the power in. Why? Because in Mercer County, Oliver County, McLean County, that's where the large switch yards are, and that's where by FERC's ruling, and when electric generation companies were required to join RTOs, regional transmission organizations, FERC also required those RTOs to adopt the same rule. So you can't join an RTO and refuse to give a renewable company an interconnect agreement. And we have the switch yards in these counties, and wind and solar are coming because they get access to the switch yards in the counties. So you can push this off, but I would like to hear exactly what bills are at the legislature that you guys are basing your decision on, and John Phillips' letter as to why you're gonna push this off. I was kind of taken aback at that letter, and I'm not gonna back down on this. I spent a lot of time talking to people who spend their time at the legislature. And those two contacts, wind company contacts, said, we have seen nothing come out of the legislature other than the $500 million going into Coal Research and Sustainability Fund. So I'd like to find out exactly where that's at. What are the bills and what are the rules? Because as of right now, the PSC cannot make rules and change rules unless they're given authority through a bill at the legislature. And about all that's left, folks, are appropriations bills. So what are the bill numbers?
Can I answer your question, Wes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm speaking for myself, nobody else. You asked what bill in legislature addresses the possible PSC ruling on wind farms?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I will find out if there is anything at all. And don't let me
Right.
finish. I'm taking what you say as fact, okay? I will do my homework.
Yeah.
I have not, so I'll answer that. I want to ask a favor, though. You also stated that there was a ruling around 2002 that interconnect agreements must be granted to green energy, basically.
If an energy source asks
Okay.
through the RTO for an interconnect agreement, it has to be provided.
Via your contacts or however, I would like to get a copy of that, or where I can research that agreement.
I will contact Troy Tweeten, who is the Senior Vice President of Operations for Basin Electric. I will get his okay to further that, email to you. That was one of the questions I asked him.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, but I think, you know, just to say we wanna wait because the legislature is doing something and no context to what they're doing, you guys, that leaves a lot of unanswered questions. You gotta have some context for what you're going to do, especially when it concerns the county. So, I mean, I can understand there's a lot of emotion involved with, man, we're gonna save coal. All you have to do is look at what the legislature's done. They pumped $500 million out of the legacy fund into a coal sustainability fund. What are they sustaining? Especially when you've got wind companies are already pumping megawatts into Coal Creek Coal Creek Switchyard, which is gonna take those units off anyway. But I think somebody needs to come up with what bill or bills in the legislature deal with the Public Service Commission and the rules that are gonna be changed. So,
I'll do my homework.
Yep, we'll
I'll stand
research
for any
that.
questions, otherwise I'll yield my time back.
I appreciate your comments.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I still have bills here. Suppose I could finish these after.
Oh, you got till 10. We can't do nothing till 10. It has to be done.
We're still in the approval of bills, if you guys are wondering what's. And your chairman's the last to get them here. Is this part of this?
Nope, that's part of your packet. This isn't a bill.
How'd that get?
You're a hot mess today.
We're gonna get done with our meeting pretty early now.
This one's signed already.
He's signing all his papers in his packet instead of the bills.
As long as he puts them in the pile, our meetings will go shorter.
Pile here, I just signed it. Okay. Any more questions on the bills? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve bills?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any other questions on the bills? Hearing none. Wayne?
How vote aye?
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Jean, aye. Okay, hiring freeze. It was, under other business, we're not at 10. It was brought to my attention that Mercer County has a hiring freeze implemented for all departments. Nobody could find the minutes or when this was implemented, but I was told, I think by a department in the county that they can't hire anyone because there's a hiring freeze. So my suggestion would be to officially undo the hiring freeze that's supposedly there.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. I've heard this too, but not recently. It was when I first became a commissioner. I think it was 2018 when they said there's no hiring, or there was a hiring freeze, but some other people still got hired. That's when I first, that was 17 or 18?
So I have been reading minutes for the last 2 days. I read all the way back to 2013. The only time it mentions a hiring freeze is the first meeting in January in 2017. After Dwight Berger had become a commissioner, he asked about it. He referenced it back to 2014. There was nothing mentioned in 14. But then Dwayne Shire stated that the hiring freeze was implemented to prevent new positions, not replacement positions. But I went all the way back since I started, and I couldn't find a motion that directed a hiring freeze.
So if there is no,
So-
if there is no motion, we don't need a motion to say there isn't one.
Unless you just want something clear in these minutes that there isn't one, you know.
That'd be a statement.
Yeah, so we can just, since there's nothing to overrule, we could just have it in the minutes that was discussed and that there is no hiring freeze as far as this commission is concerned.
And every department knows if they wanna add a position or if they're gonna be outside of their budget, they have to come in front of this board.
Right, so,
To do so.
So it was researched and not found to be valid, basically.
okay,
Good.
we can pass that on to our departments. Blood drive in county parking lot.
I had put that on there, I should have had it on the last agenda, but Camille Jones from Vitalent, I believe is what they're called, had contacted me at the beginning of March and asked if for their next blood drive, it won't be, I don't know when it will be, actually, if they could use our parking lot to have this, to have their van in. The only thing is they probably have to use like our public restrooms, so that's why, I thought I'd get the board's approval for them to be able to do, because most, we're the biggest business per se in Stanton, so it'd be a place for, and Darby's usually the one that organizes it through this company, and we have quite a few people, employees that donate, so she just wanted permission to use our parking lot for her blood drive.
Have we ever, where did she do it in the past?
I think it's been at the Civic Center in the past. But I think most of the people that donate come from the courthouse.
And so if we okay it, there's none on our part.
I would see why, or,
Yeah,
yeah, I
okay.
think it should be good. I just wanted to run it past you guys.
I don't have any issue. Any other commissioner have any problems with it? Okay, do we need a motion and, a motion to allow, who?
By talent,
Okay.
What was the date on that?
is that how you pronounce it?
They didn't have a date.
They didn't have a date.
Yep.
But I'd like to know the name too. Spell it for
Can
me.
you spell it for us, Shanna?
VITALANT.
Okay. Do I have a motion to allow Vitalent to have a blood drive in our county parking lot?
Yep.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
A second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion, any more discussion? Hearing none. Wayne?
How vote aye?
Liza?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Jean, aye. Duplicate warrant number 54046. Oh, do we need Darby here?
Probably. Dwayne, do you wanna tell Darby the duplicate warrants are out?
Mr. Chairman, I was gonna ask the same question. If she's here, do we mind if we give the treasurer's report, if we don't violate the timeline?
Yeah. And then, county road tax to cities?
That's something that this, I put that on there, so I'm gonna ask some questions on that.
Yeah, but,
Doesn't have to do with Darby.
okay.
Oh. Yes, it does. Good idea. Yep.
She might be here for, we might have to ask her back.
Thank you. Yep. It beep, but it wasn't on the louder. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Darby, duplicate warrant number
Yep, I have,
54046.
Two duplicate warrants, one's for a check that was, it was a refund check written to a, taxpayer, and when he sent it to his bank, it got lost in the mail. So we've stopped payment on that, and we're reissuing it. And the other one is for a overpayment. A taxpayer paid his taxes, and then his escrow company did too, so we're sending that amount back to them.
The second one, the Gulfster, that's an overpayment?
That was an overpayment, that,
Okay. And
the second one,
the first one, yeah, the Serbian one?
they paid, somebody's taxes, and that person had already paid them.
Oh, okay. So they're just two refunds, there's nothing, okay. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we allow our treasurer to issue the duplicate warrants 54046 and 54182.
right here.
Yes.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Marvin?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Jean, aye.
Treasurer's report.
Okay, we can do a treasure report, Marvin.
The treasurer's report, Darby gives that, I put that on there so she does at the first meeting of every month. You guys will recognize it when you get it.
Okay?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you-
Thank you.
Thanks, Darby.
Morning.
Thank you, Darby.
okay, thank you.
Okay, this is as of 3/31. Balance sheet on the back. So we took in, for March, we took in 3,892,280, oh, that's our payments, I'm sorry. And we took in 445,000. So right now, we're up 24,000 if you look at the,
Okay,
and those come off your March 31st balance sheet. And as our trend sort of goes, next month, I'm sure we'll be trending down. We probably will be in the negative column for ins and outs, so.
any questions on the treasurer's report? Okay. We also have on the, we got 4 minutes, on the county road tax to cities.
Oh,
We
okay,
have a
yep.
question on that.
I put that on the agenda, and we had a meeting down in Bismarck regarding this, and I need Jessica's help. Are we still allowed to be making those payments to the cities out of the road funds?
I'm sorry. What?
According to our meeting that we had in Bismarck, the first 10 mills of our
Right,
County road tax.
the cities receive 0.
right.
Okay, and are we currently giving them any?
Not for the current year, but for previous years, yes.
We are still giving them
Anything
some.
paid for 18s and 19s are being paid to the cities.
Okay. So I guess my question to you, Jessica, as I understood that meeting,
Isn't
we,
that what you said, went over your head?
Yeah, well, what are we paying for 18 and, because you said we're,
Just when past taxes come in.
okay,
Yeah,
And they
that
would
was our,
just be for properties within those cities then.
okay.
are we okay to keep doing that, or how do you guys want? I guess that's, I'm thinking that's the question Marvin is asking.
my question is to Jessica.
Yeah.
I believe it's illegal to be still doing that, but you tell me. And we are, per 112307, that's what one of our discussions was, we're not supposed to use county road tax and allocate a portion of that to the cities. So we still are, is that still proper?
That
Or
would,
should that have stopped?
Should have stopped as of 2015, according to our meeting.
right. But those would have been, was it budgeted that way? I don't.
Yes, there was a, yes.
There was a line.
I'm gonna have to get back to you, can't throw a question that large at me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'll have to, it's way more complicated than a yes or no.
Okay,
In, you know, you all have that email from Kimberly Liebmeyer. It says, meaning 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 20, since the county was levying less than 10 mils, a payment to the cities may not have been necessary.
Right.
So if we choose to keep going with them or not keep going with them, we need to consult with our state's attorney.
Right.
You can put that on a next agenda.
absolutely. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Yeah.
Then,
Okay, so next
And
meeting.
Didn't
So
mean to
we would
blindside
know
you.
by,
Thought it was clear, but,
yes,
Okay.
next meeting.
so we
Gotcha.
would know by May 1st when we have portion again. Okay. But it is up to us, is that what I'm understanding? If
Well,
we-
it
Well-
should have been.
Right,
in
it
place,
shouldn't be.
But since we've started this year, do we want to continue throughout the year and finish it? Or do we want to stop now? I read it that we should stop now, but Jess can look it over and.
Right.
And I'm okay with.
Because
meetings.
at that meeting, Shannon asked the question, well, can we still do it out of the general fund? And the answer was, well, the way I understood the answer was, one government, we can't give it to another government entity
I never asked.
unless there's a bill.
Right. Right,
Well, what
right,
we-
that was our understanding, that as of 2015, those funds should have stopped, and now
Right,
that we know that,
right,
we'll wait for Jessica's official
okay.
answer, but it's our understanding that, we should,
Right, that's how I
Discontinue
would
doing it.
understand that too.
right,
But I
Still
mean,
don't.
we do the extra work and then they write the check out, so I mean, it's not, it would just be one step less for us, which would be
Yep.
okay,
okay, yep,
so,
okay,
okay.
thank you, Darby.
Yep.
Okay, 10 o'clock, annual bid letting, Hazen Construction Agreement, or is that different?
Mis-
It's all one.
We need,
Mr. Chairman, I moved that we
There you go.
close the bid letting bids for 2021. I think that's what she wants.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll second that.
any other discussion? Hearing none, Wayne,
I vote aye.
Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Jean, aye.
Now you can let her rip. Literally.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this part.
That's the fun part.
Yeah. Have your pen ready.
You guys will just keep track.
Yeah.
Okay, first one is propane fuel.
Oh, yeah, that's propane.
Propane fuel, first one is Fitter Oil, 104. 104.
So that's $1.04 or?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
$1.04, sorry.
I'm confused. Where do we mark that on this sheet?
All the way
You
down.
rate Fitter Oil and you rate $1.40 a gallon, and I'm guessing it's the same for every facility.
Yeah, you go
Correct.
all the way down.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
104.
Yep,
Yep.
that's all.
The next one is from Farmers Union Beulah. Farmers one is Rude Oil and 118.9. 118.9.
The gas pumps have 9/10s
I
too.
know, we just don't usually see it on the signs, I've not seen it anywhere. Okay, next one, diesel fuel. Diesel fuel and gas. These I'm just acknowledging receipts, right?
Correct.
Yeah, this one is Farmers Union Beulah, Farmers Union Beulah. Fitter Oil. This is Fitter Oil Hazen. Here's we got two.
The different,
No.
Could be the-
Fitter Oil
is it-
LLC. Signature's the same.
different sheets though. Oh, that's the
Oils?
acknowledgement.
Oh,
Oh, they just put them in separate, okay. Okay, next one looks like Newburger Oil,
who?
Newburger. And last one is Rude. Okay.
I'm confused there, we have the dollar figures.
No, they just acknowledge
Oh, okay.
we did on that one. They-
Yeah, the way it works with the diesel fuel and gasoline is Rachel will do send out if we need like 5,000 gallons, then she sends out a bid for those guys, and then they do a spot price, and whoever has the cheapest spot price out of these four, that's who we go with. So you can't bid out fuel, not like propane per year,
Okay.
because it goes up and down so much.
So this is just acknowledging these are the only companies that
Right.
we can receive from?
Correct,
If we-
yep.
Thank you.
Next one is oil and grease. Oil and grease, we've got one bid. Newburger Oil. Now, what do you got? Need me to read on that one?
I don't think I read anything.
We've only got the one, so.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to read it. We can just,
And this is the same?
no, that,
No,
we
this
have
one-
a specified, like for DEF, different grease, windshield fluid, 1030 synthetic. So we have so much spotted for that price, and that's what they give us, at the price on what we required.
So the total bid is $9,077.
You can see on that one sheet, I think it's the third sheet that has all the stuff that we,
Mm-hmm.
If you want
Yeah.
me to read them, I can.
It's, so you asked for a
as
bid
well.
for a
You want
55,
it? Okay.
Yeah.
right,
So the multi-use grease,
Yep.
5 cases, $635. $635. Windshield washer fluid, 1 55-gallon drum, $103. $103. 10W30, 6 55-gallon drums, $3,700. $3,700. Rotella 50/50, 1 55-gallon drum, $403. $403. That was for the red or pink one. Rotella 50/50 green, 1 55-gallon drum for $286. $286. Diesel exhaust fluid, 24 55-gallon drums, $1,985. $1,985. Anti-gel for diesel, 2 55-gallon drums, $1,965. $1,965.
For a total bid of,
Total bid of $9,077.
Thank you.
Okay, next one we got is common excavation. One bill or bid. From Hanson's Excavating out of Des Lacs. Hanson's Excavating out of Des Lacs. Why don't I see what the sheet says? You want me to go through this one?
I don't think we have to.
No? Okay.
Is there a total or,
If you
No.
guys want copies of any of this, let me know, or Ken will take the file today.
Yeah.
Let him know, Rachel can scan an email, anything to you guys.
I would appreciate that.
She could,
Yeah.
she could probably fill these in if you.
Or, yeah, she does fill this in, doesn't, can you do, don't you?
Yeah, I think she
Once you
does.
get it filled in, can you send it to the commissioners?
Yep,
Okay.
Thank you.
yep.
Wayne takes his by snail mail.
It's there eventually.
I would like a copy, please.
Yeah, I'll just have him send it to the board.
Thank you.
Well, Miss Molly needs a ride to the mailbox, so.
Okay, this one is rental of equipment, holy cow.
And that's the same thing there too. I mean, there's so many different
Knowledge work.
categories.
Yeah, different categories. So this one is Hanson's Equipment out of Des Lacs. And yeah, some of them are gonna have different equipment options and whatnot. So,
Do we only have one equipment rental then from Hanson's? Is that,
No, that was just for common excavation.
oh, that's common
Yeah,
excavation.
now we've moved on to rental of
Yeah.
equipment, and they bid that one too.
We got more than one?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have a
yeah.
lot.
Oh, okay, okay.
Western Steel,
Was hoping crepes.
yeah, they all have attached letters of grades. This one is Lakeview Services.
Do they have options on Lakeview Services too? Like,
Yeah,
can you give me an example of just one?
Crane National, 55-ton, 240 per hour. Crane Link Belt, 75-ton, $305 per hour. Crane Tadano, 130-ton, $445 per hour. Then they have different loaders, forklifts, miscellaneous equipment, dump truck.
So, okay, so it's basically a rate, depending on the size of equipment, they're giving which size crane. I was wondering if it was like, on weekends it'd be a different rate an hour or
I haven't
something.
seen that.
Okay, thank you.
so what they're doing is they're giving us a bid on, let's say, crane. And then you'll, when you need a crane, you'll select the one that has the lowest bid here.
Or if we can get them, yeah, but we
Or
can
the
choose from those ones that
Availability.
put in,
Normally they
you know.
award to several companies, so they have a few options.
Right,
Right.
So now he'll take all these back and compile everything, and in the next meeting, he'll come and show you guys what he's compiled.
and then you
his
guys accept them.
recommendation,
Okay,
And then you'll review it from there and you'll award it at that time.
Because some of this will be dependent on what equipment they need and
Right.
if they have it available. Timing, some of them
Timing.
might not be
Right,
available when he
yeah.
needs them.
Yep.
Emergency stuff is gonna be some
Right.
other sort of deal, so, but this locks us in case he.
For the
needs
year.
I mean, as long as you mention that, let's just say we have an emergency and none of these are available for what you need. Do you go to the board or you just go find one someplace and lease it?
We just find it, yeah.
I would think you would.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that one I didn't read now. This one's from Kenny Unruh. See, now this one is just for semi and bottom dump. and Barongo Brothers. A list of 4 pages of options. Okay, next one is tires.
Same thing, he's gonna compile it and give us a
Right.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Lignite Tire out of Beulah. And this one is Northwest Tire. Okay, next one is gravel crushing. Fisher Sand and Gravel. This one, you want me to go through?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
put what they were, you know, for crushing
Okay.
per ton.
Scoria, 550 per ton.
Is this with Fisher?
Yep.
Okay.
Fisher Scoria, 550 per ton. Gravel, price per ton with jaw type crusher, 550 per ton. Price per ton without jaw type crusher, 525 per ton.
Is that 525?
$5.25,
Okay.
$5.50.
Thanks.
Stripping, 2.6 feet to 3 feet, 15 cents per ton. 3.1 to 3.5 feet, 20 cents per ton. 3.6 to 4 feet, 25 cents per ton. This is Sundry Sand and Gravel, Sundry Sand and Gravel. Scoria is $5.40 per ton. Gravel, price per ton with jaw type crusher, $5.40 per ton. Price per ton without jaw type crusher, $5.35 per ton. Stripping, 2.6 to 3 feet, 20 cents per ton. 3.1 to 3.5 feet, 25 cents per ton. 3.6 to 4 feet, 30 cents per ton. Okay. This last one is Gravel Products out of Minot. Scoria is $6.50 per ton, $6.50 per ton. Gravel, price per ton with jaw type crusher, $6.50 per ton. Without jaw type crusher, $6.25 per ton. Stripping, 2.6 to 3 feet, 20 cents per ton. 3.1 to 3.5, 25 cents per ton. 3.6 to 4 feet, 30 cents per ton.
I missed one. What was this one right here?
650.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yep.
Thanks.
Culverts. Contech Engineering Solutions out of Bismarck.
Thank you, Doug.
Just a second, please. Is that underneath corrugated metal pipe? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I would guess, because I get, so,
Huh?
Yeah.
Culverts, it says, yeah.
yeah.
There's a whole list of stuff again too.
You don't need to read them all.
I am not going
We might hear.
What was the name of the company again, Jess?
to.
Contech?
Contech, Contech, Engineered Solutions out of Bismarck.
Thank you.
And once again, he's gonna put this on a spreadsheet and send it out to us anyway.
Is that a new,
Yeah, this is the list.
Ken, is that a new company, or?
And
No,
there's
they've been
various
around.
diameters, gauges,
They've been
and
around.
whatnot, so,
They got what knots in there?
yeah.
Okay.
This is Forterra out of Rapid City, Forterra. This one is True North Steel,
True?
True North Steel.
Yep. That, for, Forterra, that was the reinforced concrete pipe, right? Forterra, I think, because they're,
It said culvert.
oh, yeah? Okay. Well,
You'll have to
there
look
is a
at it.
box culverts,
I probably didn't file it in the.
yeah, we'll split them up.
Reinforced concrete pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It says on
concrete,
there, it
yeah,
said-
that's
I got
Forterra.
culvert on them, okay.
That's Forterra. Forterra.
Yeah.
Forterra, yeah. Last one is lawn care, and we have it from S&M Lawn Service out of Center. That's it in my folder.
We need a motion table till the next meeting and for Ken to bring back his recommendation.
Okay.
I make a motion that we table annual bid letting until we can get all the compromised information from Ken for our next meeting.
Second to that?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. Liza?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Gene, aye. Road issues.
We got that
We got that.
construction agreement?
Construction
Oh, okay,
agreement.
construction agreement.
You have that, Shannon?
I do, I
Okay.
have 3 copies here. It's for the, project by Bechtold paving in regards to the Hazen Bay Road mill and overlay in an amount of $481,177.64. So I just need, I'd assume, board to make a motion to sign the construction agreement.
Correct.
Give me that amount, please, again.
$481,177.64.
That's for that Hazen Bay.
Yep.
So we just need a motion to approve that.
Yep, and I need your signature on them.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we award this payment to Bechtel Paving for,
It's the construction agreement.
or, yeah, construction agreement.
The construction agreement, got it.
And Jana can put the amount down, make sure it's right.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Wayne,
How about I?
Travis,
Aye.
Liza,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Jean, aye. Now, am I in order if I say ask road issues?
Remember, there's a tab in the signature, you know, I can write your name.
Here.
Yep.
That it? The one?
Did you send both?
Front and back.
Yep, and there's two more.
Yeah. Chairman's work is never done, there, Jana.
I don't know about never done, but right here. Road issues.
We've been pulling shoulders in some spots, but I think we're down on 14 now. We're up in Hazen or Stanton area, but I think I'm gonna kind of quit that for the simple fact with fires. I'm just afraid of a spark comes off that moldboard or off that road groomer, and, you know, way down south there and wherever, I mean, the way the winds blow, I don't think it's, so we're gonna we're gonna finish it, because the winds are supposed to be not so bad today, but Friday we'll be pretty much done doing that. The motor graders, I told them to, you know, get out as much as they can, a little bit at a time, because like I say, if we hit a rock, we don't want to be the one starting a fire, because we know what that's like by Medora and up in the north unit. It's not a good deal, so. And that's why we get the washboards on these roads, because nothing's holding together, so it's bad for us too, as long as the farmers are, and with the farmers and ranchers too, so it's hard to keep up. But we need rain, bad.
So it should be rain issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were complaining we had too much. Now we don't get any.
Ago.
Yeah, it was about
Years ago when we
3 or
did
4,
the
yeah,
Rained all fall.
yeah. We had 20-some inches.
In the month of September? Yeah.
Boy, I wonder what
So-
that's like.
Right.
But
Can you give this to Jennifer?
Okay? That it? Okay. we're gonna
Thank you.
Recess until 10:30.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the bid.
You're welcome.
Here.
Where do you give those cookies sometimes? They're fine? No, I don't, I'm off. That's my weakness.
Tried this right in front of the whole board.
I saw it.
I know it's not been good where I'm from either, but now it's, they're starting to get, I talked to my parents yesterday, and they're getting like, they got like 3 rounds of rain in a row with little breaks in between. But it's all being generated in southeast North Dakota and then into Minnesota. Rain water.
You sure? Because I kind of come up with it during the week.
Oh,
So, got a little more information and.
I gotta say, that's what's most helpful.
What is the AEDS that was struck from the agenda?
The AED machines, you know, are.
You know, like the heart, that you put on somebody who's having a heart attack, or they might think I have a heart attack, and then like,
try it and get nothing out of it. Checks in the mail.
So have you guys heard the news or seen that we're not PHG anymore?
You're not?
No, I hadn't heard that.
As of last week, we're sold to new owners, the Hazen Beulah Center papers.
Oh, really?
Who are your new owners?
Nodak Publishing, they have a few, they're associated with other company, there's a South Dakota one, Mobridge, they're all kind of together.
Okay,
But
okay.
we're in North
You
Dakota.
must have
gotta
better
carry
on
Judy.
you, bud.
Yeah, I've known for the last couple of years.
Gotta get rid of
that
that cash
the
that's
Capitals
Well, it's
were
on
planning
console.
to, retire and maybe sell.
And parcel out.
I've been lucky.
So where's your
He's got better
headquarters at?
signal
Like
than
this one was out of Pierce?
My owner is now actually in Wyoming,
Oh,
but, I'm the direct manager for the North Dakota and South Dakota papers is in Mobridge.
okay.
But we're not BHG anymore. BHG sold Hazen Beulah and Center last week.
Really?
So I have a new owner.
You got a new boss?
So can we
Gonna
get
have that.
the beacon changed back to the Beulah?
When I wrote this, they had me, of course, write the story, and that's, the whole time I was writing the papers that were sold, I was like, Beulah, Beacon, Beulah, I'm like, that's not actually correct, is it?
What?
So it should be, so now it's just the Beacon.
Oh, yeah.
The Dunn County Beacon. Should be Beulah Beacon. We'll see, maybe.
You'll get some more advertisements back, because there's certain
I'm
entities within.
completely on your side.
Yeah, no, I'm just,
We'll
I'm
see.
neutral, I'm just telling you that. So that it's a point of contention for some businesses.
I know.
I said we'd reconvene at 10:30 and
Yeah, you got
We got quorum.
25 seconds.
Just gotta keep it rolling,
Yep.
Gene.
Yep. Okay, it's 10:30. I don't wanna. Liza?
What'd you got? Need a stick?
Did you say get to your corner?
Oh,
I've
Lay
been,
by your dish?
I don't,
You told me to get to the corner.
I don't wanna start the meeting with all of us up here, because I know we're all here, so.
I was looking at pictures already.
Okay. Get the meeting, call the meeting back to order here.
Thanks for the break.
You bet. Sherwin Wanner, Houston Engineering. Yes, you're there, okay.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for having me present at the meeting. As you know, I've been trying to assist the Mercer County landfill with the engineering services
Okay.
ongoing on a number of efforts. I primarily keeping the regulatory reports up to date with the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality, and then assisting on the expansions as needed and advice that Candace needs periodically. In 2018, the facility did do a construction project for the next expansion area, which we call cell 6 and 7 area. The landfill itself is permitted in 10 cells. We're currently filling in landfill or cells 4 and 5 right now. And then cells 6 through 10 are on the north side of cells 1 through 5. So we're moving back into the northwest corner adjacent to cell 1. The first project that was completed in through 2018 into 2019 was to construct the perimeter and the rough grading around cell 6 and 7 and to establish the haul roadway. Today, in front of you, I have a task order to complete the plans and specifications and bidding documents for the clay liner portion that goes into the cell 6 and 7 area. The reason that the clay liner portion is completed a little bit separately is due to timing primarily. We have to be able to complete the clay liner and get a trash cover over the clay liner through one frost season. So we want to be able to time the construction, complete it during early spring, then be able to allow the operators time to place that cover through that season. Typically, we size that clay liner, and the cells are sized all based on the landfill's permitted capacity, which is less than 20 tons per day. So we don't want to overbuild a clay liner and then it's running problems that way, because we're also limited on the amount of open area that we can have between fills. So it's a staging and timing situation with the clay liner. But the landfill is at the point right now, we're filling in cell 5. That is, we are building the slopes on that already. I say the operators are building the slopes on that already. So we do have, that is filling. Maybe there's a couple more years of space, but we have to look ahead and make sure that the liner's in place for cell 6. So that's the project set before you. I do know that in July of last year, I had worked up a preliminary cost estimate for Candace on that. So now I'm looking at, the landfill's looking at proceeding with that. So the task order that I have in front of you is the task order for the engineering services. Like I said, develop the plan specifications and construction documents to bid that project out. With that, I will just try and answer any questions that you may have.
It's over my head, but I do have a couple curiosity questions. Clay liner thickness, how thick is it?
2 feet thick.
Really?
That's the requirement from the North Dakota Department of, Department of Environmental Quality.
In my mind's eye, I was figuring 8 inches, but 2 feet, okay. What's the availability of the clay?
The soils at the site, as you know, it's a old mine site, so there's the spoil piles,
Right?
which are kind of a homogeneous mixture of soils the way they mined it years ago. We have been able to utilize that material to build a clay liner. We did the previous partial cover, which has the same requirements in terms of compaction and permeability as clay liner, and we were able to meet all those requirements. It does take a fair amount of water in the compaction process, but we are able to utilize the on-site soils for that.
Okay. You said a trash cover on the clay liner. How thick is that trash cover?
The state requirements that it be 4 feet.
4 feet? Okay. And in pit 5, what's the total depth of trash that gets put in there before it becomes at capacity?
Well, and if I can maybe even, for information, maybe hand out some plans that you can look at.
If I can understand them, but I'll work at it.
It's a little bit hard to do a specific depth.
Did you say pit 5 is good for like 2 years, or what did you say there? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
We maybe have 2 years left.
Right.
On the design side, it was estimated that there's at least 6 years total, but we've been filling in
Right.
for a few years, so I vaguely guess that there's roughly about 2 years total. In order to get to the adjacent cell, if you look at the second sheet, you notice that cells 6 through 10 actually are built up higher, so part of the slope from those cells come back down onto cells 1 through 5. So when we do finally finish the entire facility, I believe the total depth in the deepest part is roughly about 60 to 70 feet.
Okay.
When we get to cell 5, because we're on the down slope next to the perimeter, it's significantly less on the edge of the cell.
Right.
We're actually tapered out to where it's only a few feet thick. And then on the higher side of cell 5, we're probably at that around that 25 to 30 feet thick, but that's because we're going up the slope on the final cap, but we won't reach that until years down the road, when we're actually filling in at this point, at that point, at cells 9 and 10.
So is cell 6 currently being used? No?
No.
Okay,
Leave the liner in there.
okay.
When will you start prepping cell 6 to be used?
That's what this is for.
Well, if the schedule that we would lay out is we would prepare the plans and specifications over this summer,
Okay,
try
okay.
and bid it out this fall so that we're constructing that early spring
Spring.
2022. And that gives the facility the summer and fall of 2022, and then through that winter to build up that 4 feet of fill.
Okay. It's a lot of clay.
Yeah.
It is.
Nice to have that resource so readily available, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
Of course, if we had to import clay like some facilities do, that would be very expensive.
Just, and once again, like, my questions are more curiosity questions also then. So like cell 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are all on, non-mined land, correct?
Yeah, well, where the landfill is right
Yeah.
now, it's straight to the north.
Yeah, okay. So does that topsoil get removed and,
There is no topsoil, back then they mixed everything up.
okay,
There's maybe that much topsoil, and it's not cost effective to try to take it off of there. It's,
okay.
In terms of the topsoil, the history on that is that there's the property that the county owns to the north of the spoil piles, and then we were required by the state to do what's called a suitable plant growth material survey, which that was completed, and it was determined that there's enough topsoil to leave a base topsoil there to grow crops, but still an excess amount of topsoil that can be used on the facility.
I was just curious, how, mine is more of how the process works to prepare this for a landfill, more so than,
Well, I guess in terms of the landfill development under the current rules, and keep in mind that this is permitted as a less than 20 ton per day landfill, which under the North Dakota rules does give some special consideration, so there's no need for a leachate collection system or an HDP liner. So for the small landfill, our requirement is that we construct a 2-foot clay liner. And then we don't have to deal with the leachate management. So that's part of the permit with the less than 20 ton per day. The development of the facility is, there's a number of monitoring wells that are annually monitored around the site. So there was a report that was done long before my time that looked at the soils on the site, looked at the hydrogeology of the site with the monitoring wells. And then the state reviewed it, determined that it would be a suitable site for a landfill. And we look at the area around it, residential growth, community, or county zoning and everything. And then to develop it as landfill is to establish the base grades. And that's determined based on where's the groundwater level at, what's the material between the groundwater level and the surface level, then establish the base grade of the landfill. The 2-foot clay liner, that's just a state standard, and that's to prevent the leachate from leaching into the groundwater. And then, the area and the size are established based on the county needs and the desires and how long they intend to use the facility.
okay.
At current rates, how long would it take us to utilize the entire site?
When we did the permit renewal, we determined that based on the current inflow rate and limits on the site, we estimated that there's roughly around 60 years of life at the site.
You do a good job reporting. You explain things very well. Thanks.
About the
Appreciate
time
it.
you retire.
About the time I retire?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I gotta work till 98?
Well, you can retire a little earlier, but
We
Yeah.
own that whole order that's in that section there.
Yeah, there's,
So we can still, we can still go north after it gets there, which would be way out
The-
here.
There's options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
and maybe I should qualify, there's the current permitted area,
yeah.
we estimate there's around 60 years of life with all 10 cells. There's additional area that could be
And that's
permitted
all
potentially,
task order.
Yep, yep.
at different times.
Okay.
Okay.
Way past us.
Yeah. Even our younger.
In the copy of the task order that I had emailed, they did note that there was one small typographical error in there, so I did print.
Where's the city of Bismarck?
Yep.
I crossed it off.
Yeah, I printed clean copies if you prefer that.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I'll move to approve the task order
2101,
2101.
thank you.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Travis?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
I won't I.
Marvin?
Hi.
Jean, aye.
Thank you,
Sign these
Commissioner.
quick.
By name?
Do you want all three of them signed, Sherman?
Yes, and then I'll send
You'll send an original back? Perfect.
And these maps are for us to keep? I'm gonna. It's my backyard. Okay.
That's kind of the word it seems there. I mean, it's been so years. 20-something.
We can have Jim early, can we?
They just started that one.
Go ahead, Jim.
So I hope, yeah.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Jim.
Okay, I guess
Before I
I'll-
forget, I have one request. If you have time, I'd like you to, sometime after the meeting, take me down to those buildings on Main Street here
Yep,
and show me what door, or doors for sure we're talking about.
in,
The buildings that we acquired that we're gonna have to
okay,
eventually get rid of.
okay,
Yeah. That's what I mean by the
Yeah.
door.
okay,
What buildings exactly?
yeah,
Okay.
can do. All right, I believe Shanna sent you all the quotes for the asbestos removal, correct?
They were in your yellow packet that you received at the meeting special meeting.
You and that yellow packet. I haven't even,
There's three of them, correct?
Yep, should be three of them. Oh, there's one extra from Badlands for
one, oh,
a portion of work we'll probably be looking at too, so.
They stapled it to the safe tech one,
I would say.
and everything color highlighted, I don't know.
well, thank you.
Okay, we can go through them one at a time. Horsley Specialties Incorporated, their proposal to remove all the asbestos in both buildings, provide air sampling, everything. We would, on all three of these, keep in mind, we have to provide power and water for them to do this work. That's what they requested, so, HSI's proposal is $97,800,
And we're talking just the asbestos
just the
removal.
asbestos.
Okay. The
Okay, then
buildings
there's
is-
Environmental Plant Services Incorporated. Their proposal
They got a price with or without the air monitoring. They said it's up to us if we wanna do it or hire someone to do it. Their price with air monitoring was for $54,640. Without the air monitoring was $53,190. Okay, and then the other one was Safe Tech. Their proposal was, let's see, did you add these up, Shanna?
The proposal was 38,364, and then the air monitoring was 625 for a total of 38,989.
Okay,
What was that first number?
38,364 was their, Safe Tech,
Yep,
and then the air monitoring from Badlands was $625, that was, behind, so it's a total of $38,989.
and just to bring that Badland, which would be for the environmental, or no, for the Safe Tech one, or the environmental if we wanna contract that ourselves. Like Shanna says, it's $625 if we do both buildings at the same time. If you choose only to do one, it'd be $625 for each trip, so. It's not to exceed $1,250. See, if they have to make two trips, it's gonna be $1,250, but if they do it
Is
one
there a-
time.
Is there a time estimate for each of these, how long it will take them to do it?
I think that's on there. Horsley says, please allow 6 weeks. They didn't note when they could start.
6 weeks to do it, and
Yep.
then the Badlands Air would still only be 625?
Well, that is, when all the asbestos is out, from what I understand, Badlands comes in and does air monitoring, so to know if it's safe to go back in the building. You don't have to do the air monitoring if you don't want, but if you don't do it, you can't, nobody can go in that building until that's done.
I
After,
thought it was a requirement from the state of North Dakota.
well, that's what Badlands told me,
It-
it's,
Horsley has it already in theirs, they
Yeah.
have their monitoring for 2,500. So we'd have to bring in Badlands for EPS and for Safe Tech, but not for Horsley.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, that 625 didn't look like, it's 2,500 actually for that one.
Right, yep.
So then, yeah, in a nutshell, we have to have the air monitoring done regardless.
Yep.
so. With looking at all of them, it looks like Safe Tech Incorporated is the lowest proposal,
And
plus the Badlands if we wanna do that.
oh,
When would they be able to, and how long does it take?
Safe Tech, I think they got it noted that they could do the work between July 6th and July 23rd.
July 6th and July 23rd.
between that time frame. All this material is going to our Mercer County landfill?
I don't know what they have, where they plan on taking it, but I would assume so. There was 2 companies came and looked, and they talked about getting roll-offs, and I would assume it would, but I
So
don't know
this,
that.
this price includes
Enclosed
disposal of the
disposal, that's what you wanted, yeah,
No matter where okay.
right.
We care, but we don't care where we
Right.
take it. Okay.
Well, we kinda do care. I have a question about that disposal. If it goes to our landfill, do our landfill people need to take special precautions as they cover up this asbestos?
Well, it has to be paid to be able to,
Candy had already mentioned that before at one of the
Yeah.
meetings, that we do
There's-
have, she has room out there.
There's a manifest, I guess, that goes with it, and
Marv, wherever they put that, that has to be logged in GPS, exactly where that's at, then also.
But as long as it's bagged, like Shannon says, it has to be contained.
she's got rules.
It's gotta be
Yep.
contained
She has specifications that she has to follow.
for them to handle.
But our landfill is capable of accepting it, so. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was one of my questions, that the disposal, if that fee is included, and
Yep,
It
that's what
is.
I told them to
Okay.
do, so.
Yeah, good.
okay, so our bids are 38,989 with Safe Tech, including the Badlands, or 54,600 or 97,800, correct?
With, yeah.
Yes.
Including all the air monitoring.
Right.
This, just for asbestos, it's not got to do
Yep,
with
that's-
demoing the building yet.
Just asbestos.
Asbestos.
But you can't do anything until you do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
It's a
Oh,
process.
no, I understand, Marvin, yes, clarifying, this is just for the asbestos removal, we still have more that will need to be done after this. Demolishing the rest of the building and clean up, and we'll have to decide that after the asbestos is removed, basically, to see what the next step is.
I have a question for Shanna. Which line item budget is this coming out of?
Well, there's nothing in the budget because
Yeah.
it was taken out during budget time. But I would say it needs to come out of the renovation of properties because that's what we use that line item for. Is
Yeah.
for the, so it's gonna be over on Jim's budget, but that's the appropriate line item to take it out of.
That's what I was looking for.
You know, this is one of those items where our hands are tied. We'll go
Right.
over budget
But I don't
regardless.
think they should take it out of a different line item that has money. I think it should
No.
still be reflected out of,
Right, we can transfer money in there via the COVID, basically,
we would, it's a general
We just
fund.
go over the
right?
budget, yeah.
Which is from COVID. The
We
extra-
just go over budget.
It would just be over budget.
Okay. So, are we at a point where we need to make a decision here, have a motion as to who's gonna remove our asbestos? That's my understanding.
Looks like a good time. Supposedly that's the dry season.
I'll move that we accept the bid from Safe Tech, including the Badlands air monitoring portion of it.
I'll second that.
Can I add to your motion and put the dollar amounts in there, Travis?
Absolutely.
Highlight them.
Highlight them.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept Safe Tech's bid and Badlands air monitoring bid for our asbestos removal on the properties here in Stanton. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Yep.
Is there gonna be a concern with Badlands as far as scheduling between July sixth and July 23rd? Or is this company gonna do their own scheduling?
I don't believe there should be with Badlands. I think they should be able to do that. But from what I understand, it's after they're done anyhow, so
Yeah. So it'd be
it would
the
be
12th.
after Safe Tech is done, they come in and
Then I have another
do the
question.
air testing.
That leads to another question. Are we contracting Badlands or are they contracting Badlands?
We would be.
Then the bid wouldn't be for the 38,989.
Oh, I got it broke down.
So, but the motion was for Safe Tech for the total amount.
No, and with,
Nope.
and with Badlands, he said.
Yeah, I said Safe Tech and then Badlands for the air monitoring, so I
But
said
we
it
just
separated.
finished-
But
here.
I guess,
To
go
accept
ahead.
the bid from Safe Tech Inc. in the amount of 38,364 and Badlands Environmental for air monitoring, the bid of 625 for a total of 38,989 for the asbestos removal on the properties of 204, 206, and 218 Herman Avenue. How's that sound? That's what you said, right, Travis?
That's what he said.
That's what I said.
Okay, that works very good.
Exactly.
Okay, any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanna make a note, if you note up in that paragraph, it says something about a stipulation it's on the Safe Tech quote. Says stipulations not included in this proposal.
Where's that at?
On the Safe Tech proposal, up in that top paragraph. It's about the third line down. Says stipulations not included in this proposal will be considered extra work and to be negotiated prior to and on the contract agreement. So I did email Safe Tech, and ask him to clarify this, just so for your information. And what he wrote me back is, his response was, if we, in this stipulation, if we were to find a material that was not identified by Badlands Environmental, we would let you know and also contact them for sampling of the material. If it tested positive, then we would give you a change order price to remove that additional material. Another scenario is if there were to be more square feet of the materials listed, then the additional footage would be extra cost, but most of the time Badlands does a great job in finding the materials and also quantifying them as well. So normally they don't have extra charges with their projects. I just wanted you to be aware of that. So, and I'd asked him about the power and water. I did talk to the city,
It was an email, right?
and they'll allow us to use a hydrant. There's a fire hydrant there, we just have to get a connection to hook to the hydrant so they can get water that way.
There it is.
And also, we do have a large generator that we have here, we could pull down there, and so we could provide them power that way. And this is what they wrote on the air clearances part. It says, air clearance is not required in North Dakota, but are recommended, especially if there will be people re-entering the building for demolition. And that's what they noted on that, so.
And that's
Just
why
a
we
little
have
clarification.
wetlands coming in, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted to be aware of that, so, in
Mr.
case
Chairman?
something comes up there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to make an amendment to the motion to include a description of the stipulations from Safe Tech.
I don't think you need that.
We have it in
Basically,
writing.
It would-
basically what he's saying, if it's not in the bid, it's not covered, then we might have to renegotiate, which.
Right, their bid includes,
And then that would be brought back to us.
Right.
Correct?
yeah.
I guess I'm gonna, if I don't get a second, that's fine, but I wanna leave my motion.
Yeah, do I have a second to the amendment? Do I have a second to the amendment? Do I have a second to the amendment? Hearing none, amendment failed. The bid does, I think, Marvin, that, what we're okaying is basically what you asked. So these are the specs. But, I got a feeling that the other bids would almost parallel if they would run into more and above
Right.
what is stipulated, they're gonna charge more also.
Well, I would assume they'd have to report it.
Examples he raises are just that, examples, but it could be something else too.
Right.
So,
Hopefully,
any kind of basic contracting sort of thing.
yeah, hopefully they don't run into
Right.
more. What are the odds in this case, though?
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanna know too, we're gonna have to do a building permit to the city of Stanton for this.
Okay,
When we list that, do you just wanna list the asbestos removal for now, or do you wanna list asbestos removal and demolition of building, or,
Just put it all on there, just.
I don't know, is it,
for a year.
oh,
Is
for
it?
the permit, okay.
we have to do a permit with the city
Yeah.
to,
You're gonna charge us the $15 too?
I'm sure.
We'll see.
Yes, if you can get a permit, that'll cover the asbestos removal and, okay. But couldn't we just do a permit to the removal of the buildings? And that should include everything. Why would we need to have it mentioned separately? Yeah, isn't that part of the
just,
demolition?
okay,
Yeah,
just put it as part of the
Right.
demolition.
It's step one in the demolition.
Yeah.
so is that, being that's also a $15 expense, is that a separate line item we have to address, or?
Well, it'll have to be countered and brought in from the board next meeting.
Okay. Cause it's not gonna take place overnight anyway, so yeah, get your building permit price and bring that to the
This
next
isn't gonna happen
meeting.
until July, we got,
Right,
Yeah.
we're good.
right.
Okay, so the motion is as stands. Any other discussion?
I'm sure the chairman will read the motion, eh?
I will have, if you want the motion
No,
read.
that's fine.
Okay. Travis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Wayne?
I'll vote aye.
Jean, aye. Parking lot.
Okay, y'all should have a sheet there from
It'll work for nothing, right?
City of Stanton Street Improvement. Travis, I think he was at that meeting, correct? You can-
You're talking about the chip seal?
Yeah.
Chip
Yep.
seal, yeah.
And it looks like that Asphalt Preservation Company Incorporated comes in at 10,576.18.
Yeah, and that's the material cost, for the oil, the chips, the repainting of the parking lot. You know, was the alternate bid, to include the county stuff. I would just caution the board that, you know, the city might want you to pay a little bit of mobilization and any of the inspection, costs and some of the engineering. What that is, I can't tell you right now, but if you're approving that portion of it, just know that there's gonna be a little bit of addition, because if we didn't approve it, they're still gonna go forward with their project.
Right.
But we couldn't do ours without.
So that's my question. So why would the county have to pay any portion of the mobilization? Because that dollar amount isn't gonna change whether they add our chip seal in our parking lot or not. Doing the city, it's still gonna cost them $17,000 for mobilization. Why would the county need to pitch in on that? Because the
Well,
county
if the
isn't-
county went out on their own, they'd have to pay mobilization. I'm just saying, be aware of it,
Okay,
you know.
well, I feel $100,000 of demolition of 2 buildings on Main Street
Yeah.
played the fight already, so.
Right, and I mean, that could be a
$100,000 in
negotiating.
Special assessments, I mean.
I agree with what Shanna's point is, they would have to pay that regardless. We're just gonna piggyback off since they're in the area.
Well, I just wanted to bring it to the
Yep,
attention
that's
that
fine.
it could come from the city. I'm not saying it will, but, you know,
Okay.
I agree with Shannon too. At the very least, it would be a shared expense. Right?
well, she was saying that
No,
it
I
would
don't
only
think
be
it
for
should
the
be
city.
shared. I think the city
I
should pay the
think they-
mobilization.
I agree with you with that, but at the very least, we should not, if we shouldn't get all of it.
Well, no.
You know,
Okay,
I think we can
So our
negotiate
parking
that
lot
inspection fee.
chip
a
seal.
little.
So Travis, when would you foresee us getting a total of what it's actually gonna cost us, so we can say yea or nay that we want?
the city is, gonna approve it on Monday, the 12th.
Okay.
So the discussion would be during that time. And like I said, I just wanted the board to be aware that it could come. I'm not saying it will, but that would be when they would accept the bid.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have nothing to move on right now.
Well, I guess it would be, is the county, if Stanton goes forward with the chip seal, is the county gonna wanna activate their alternative bid to get their work done? So it's contingent on the city accepting
Yeah.
the low bid, which is that asphalt preservation. The city would just need to know, are they accepting the whole thing? And if they are, then they can award it all at one time. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't, if the city accepts and then we gotta come back to the county to accept the parking lot portion of it, if we accept it contingent that the city goes forward with their project, then it wouldn't have to come back to us.
Okay, does that affect their price?
No.
Okay,
So can the board today make a motion to, go in conjunction based upon the price of $10,576.18, and if it's more than that, we're not, you know?
You could make it that I would say the motion would be that, we approve, or we wish to go with their additive bid for that 10,000, and that it would be contingent on the approval of the project
Yep.
by the city.
Yep.
Can you make that motion, or is that's a conflict of interest on your behalf, or how does that work, because you're the city engineer?
Yeah, I guess, I would probably try to abstain from it.
Right.
Um,
Don't blame you.
yeah.
So,
I'm the engineer on the
He's
project.
the inspector.
Yes, so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can put that into words.
Good job, inspector.
I move that we accept the additive bid for our courthouse parking lot for the sum of $10,576.18, contingent on the city of Stanton approving their portion.
well,
The last part might have been said wrong, but.
yeah, the city
Yeah.
approving their chip seal of their streets.
Having their base bid for, right,
How would you word that? How would you?
For the city of Stanton
Yeah.
Streets.
street improvement.
There you go, street improvement project.
Right,
Okay.
and then have you, when she gets done, I'll have her read it back.
When you have it ready, just read it back to us.
Okay, accept the additive bid for courthouse parking lot. Yeah. By asphalt preservation in the amount of $10,576.18 contingent, the city of Stanton approving their chip seal street improvement project.
Okay, do I have a second to that motion?
Second that, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Travis? Oh, I put Travis here. It's supposed to be Marvin.
Marvin, yeah.
Marvin?
Aye.
Wayne?
Aye.
Liza?
Aye.
Travis?
abstain.
Gene? Aye. Okay. I think the next one's air handling.
Okay, in the, new facility in the government center, we have one of the air handlers that supplies the air supply for the heating and air, in the jail. This particular unit is designed so it draws in 100% outside air all the time, because the jail is sealed up and all that. That's the way a jail is designed, so you get airflow through there. Inside this unit is what they call a heat recovery wheel. It's a wheel that is kind of a paper type filter. And what it does, it keeps spinning and the air transfers, the air coming in and out, kind of transfers, so it kind of heats your air up. Like if it's really cold out, it kind of helps heat that air up, so it's not so cold going into the building. Well, anyhow, this unit is going on 4 years now that it's been running. And on the Energy Tech system, they have where you can see air differentials on both sides of the wheel. And the differential is getting close to the set point. It's creeping up there, which means that you're not getting proper airflow through this recovery wheel. You know, the air travels through there, and when that means it's probably getting dirty. So I've kind of looked into what we can do to clean this. There is a way to take it apart. Of course, our manuals doesn't have very much information on it, so I contacted the company that installed the unit, and they got in touch with Johnson Controls, because they're a York dealer. They gave me a quote on assisting with this. To me, it's a little high. They want $4,590 just to come here, and this quote says that they'll supervise the wheel cleaning, which means we're gonna do the work and they'll just tell us how to do it, so. There's another option would be to buy, there's 8 segments in this wheel, which can be taken out. If we purchase 8 new segments, it's $78.95, $7,895 to purchase them, take them out, put them in, and then you can clean the other set, so. I'm still trying to get more info on how to clean these. From what I understand, you wash them, but I haven't gotten that far yet, so. I'm just wondering your thoughts on, I've never taken one out, I don't know. Like I said, the manuals don't say much, so it looks like we can probably try one and see what happens. I don't know, if I damage it, then I don't know, so. I was just wondering your thoughts, if there's something you want me to get assistance on, or just,
So you want our okay to,
Yeah.
in case you break it?
well, it's gonna be about $8,000 if we have to buy a set,
Boy,
so.
next check will be a little slimmer.
Where's Johnson Controls out of?
What's that?
Johnson Control, where are they out of?
Their main office, I believe, is in Fargo, and
I know they used to have a
they
branch
have-
in.
Yeah,
I know
there's-
In Bismarck. even.
there's techs in Bismarck and
Bismarck.
Minot.
I don't understand why they would have $4,500 on it.
Well, it's actually 2 8-hour days is what they figured for cleaning.
Okay, if you were to take this on yourself and you found issues, you'd probably have to call Johnson Controls and,
Yeah,
and probably, if Johnson Controls comes and we pay them $4,500, is there a possibility that some of these will have to get replaced anyway? We don't
I-
know that,
I would hope not. I don't know. This is all new to me, and
so we wouldn't know at this point.
no.
So we could end up paying them $4,500 to tell you how to do it,
Yeah,
and then end up paying 90, whatever it was,
$7,800
$7,800 to replace them
right,
in the end.
yeah. The only good thing about it is if you buy another set, what you could do is take the old ones out and put these in, and then you can clean the old ones, and then just keep,
You could rotate them.
every so often,
Okay.
just keep rotating them. That would be a good option. I believe that if you take the old ones out, see, it takes a while to clean them, the way it sounds. Is 2 8-hour days is what they said in this quote. But
What
I
that takes,
think we can run the unit without them in it, but I'm not sure. That's,
That's
that
what
was
I
gonna be my
ask.
next question, what happens to the air once you take this apart?
yeah.
How long,
No, go ahead.
how long can the unit be down?
It
Can't-
depends on the day. If it's hot out or cold out, it can't. If
It
it's
can't, you know.
day like today, it ain't so bad, you know, when you get your 50, 60 degrees.
So would this be a better project to do in June, or is that too late?
I would say that's getting,
Yeah.
it could get hot then. You get a hot day, you need air, and, because there's no windows.
Well, it comes down, basically, my understanding would be, I would ask, how comfortable are you trying to do this on your own? And we would understand that you could run into complications, and then we'd have to deal with that at that point.
I think.
Or do you want us to, okay, hiring someone to,
Well,
Watch you.
I would be willing to try it. From what the diagram shows, it doesn't look difficult, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never done one, and
How hard would it be to find out if you can run this, now what I'm going with this is, if it's 2 8-hour days, and you said there's 2 different sets. So can you take one set out, put the unit back online and let it run while you're cleaning that set, and then put it back in? Is that a possibility?
I believe you can, yes. I kind of asked the tech I usually have here for other stuff, and he thought you could, so I believe that should work.
That's where
It's not gonna be as efficient as what it is. It's,
But you said that quote is for them to supervise.
yeah, that's what after I read it, I was,
Entirely hands-off, so they won't, even if you encounter a problem.
it says JCI proposes a furnished mechanical tech to supervise wheel cleaning of the air handler unit.
And
Proposal is for supervisory purposes.
Yeah.
It says the tech can assist. Yeah.
I would,
Do other jails have this system as well?
I would assume our old jail has a different, it's got actually an air handler that the air transfers back. It's similar, so I'm pretty sure they do. It's, cause you know, your jail has absolutely no windows, and you have to, I believe you have to have 100% outside air to a jail facility. That's,
I was just wondering if contacting like McLean County or Burley Morton, that's got the great
Yeah,
window now, if they've encountered such situations and what they've done.
I have no idea.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, Jim showed me this situation, and it's a little door about yay wide that you crawl into, and it's not like you open up a garage door. And this wheel has a bunch of, like hex element, screws in there, and they're like sandwiched like a pie is how they're put in there. And like Jim says, the guy don't know, and there's two sides, so it looks like these segments come apart on both sides, and you only have enough room for one individual basically in there. You know, when you talk about supervisor, I don't think, you know, he's not gonna be in there. He's gonna be looking to see what you're bringing out.
I think it
So,
would be not a bad recommendation with what Liza said, is to probably contact some other entities and see if they have something similar and maybe could give you a little expertise or their
yeah.
advice on it. I mean, you probably contact 3 of them and they'll say, oh, no way, don't even do this on your own. Or
Yeah.
they'll say, hey,
Yep.
this is a cakewalk. You just take out, 10 screws and
Right.
you don't need to spend that kind of money. So, yeah, I think that would be a good idea to
Do you have
see
a,
if someone else has something similar.
Okay.
do you have a recommendation on which way you would like to proceed?
Like I said, I don't know. I'm
Okay.
willing to try anything, but I don't wanna wreck something either.
Yeah, I guess, because
Well,
nobody on
It'd
this
be a
board's gonna
costly
do it.
mistake, so.
I think we'd give you that latitude, now that you've addressed it to us, that if you were to try it on your own and something would break, you'd still be employed here.
I mean, we'll be as careful as we can. I'm not gonna force
are-
something. If it doesn't come, I ain't gonna.
you won't take it out of his check, is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want that in the minutes?
You want that in minutes? No
Well,
check
it's,
deduction.
I understand some of these things you just,
Yeah,
just don't know, and it's one of those where you look at it and you think, well, it might be pretty simple, and you get in there and, oh geez, now it all falls apart
Yeah.
on you, and then you gotta call someone,
Yeah.
but that's.
The manufacturer may have a video on this too.
So,
yeah, I haven't had time to Google it yet, so on YouTube, you can find a lot of stuff.
Yeah. YouTube, and also I was kind of embarrassed to say YouTube, Jessica's had more courage than I did, but the manufacturer also sometimes has
Yeah.
videos, even on machinery. This is how you do it.
Yeah,
I fixed the pump myself on my washing machine because of YouTube, so I'm proud to say I'm a YouTuber.
yeah, but I think like Liza mentioned, it'd be a good idea to call, make a couple phone calls and
Okay.
give it a try and
See what you
All right.
find out,
see what
yeah.
they recommend.
And we'll discuss it at the next meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
all right,
Well, you can bring it to another meeting,
all right,
and you'll bring it to the next meeting and say you gotta take care of.
okay.
Social service
I'll be done.
building.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to know if you've given any more thought to the social service building. Our painting project is still in progress. We're down to, we probably got, after today or tomorrow, we'll probably have about 4 offices left in the conference room to paint, so. It's a slow process, but we're doing it in between other stuff, and it seems like once we start, something else comes up, but we're getting there. So I was just wondering, and I did get some quotes together if you possibly had decided to do some of the flooring work. I got quotes on the bathrooms and the kitchen, which are the worst, and then a new vanity and such in that one bathroom. That's where the top is kind of rotting out and stuff, so.
I think for now, we might wanna wait with any more renovations. I think we need to see if we have a need for that building.
I was just gonna say that Steve Reiser was in communication with Jim this week and basically left it up to the Board of Commissioners whether they want social service staff in that building or not. So if we wanna sell it, we can sell it. If we want his staff back in there, we can put the staff back in there. But our worry is that they're gonna put 1, maybe 2 people in there. So we're still paying for all the utilities and the maintenance of a building that's not being fully staffed. When we have, a couple conference rooms
Locations for them to
that they
utilize.
could use
What-
if they needed to meet with clients.
To kind of, for myself and inform the board, the thing is, we got a few different players here. First of all, you know, the state went to this brilliant zoning, development of territories, and there aren't no lines or anything like this. And so this is a fairly new, it's only run probably, what, a year?
Probably close.
Yeah, so, so there's kind of a learning curve in there, and I could foresee that all of a sudden they decide that, well, you know, this virtual deal, or, we're gonna need some more face-to-face. And like you said, today we have maybe one or two, but who's to change or even come from the Fed to say, well, you know, you got X amount of people, you need to have a face-to-face with them people. And so they changed the rules on us, and we're not, it's like looking at a ball here, and you don't know what we should do with this building exactly. And,
I would agree with that, except for we do have extra conference rooms.
I know
Will
we,
Janish's old office has been sitting empty since he left. And that's all he requested, is just to have a meeting room
Yeah.
and access to the Wi-Fi for the one-on-one meetings.
and it's,
Because
and
we
it's,
want to let a building
I know.
sit there and deteriorate with no water running through the pipes, nothing going on. Jim's staff, you know, when they had one person working there, she maybe worked once a week, and then the next week she maybe worked 3 times. Well, they never knew, so then they're
Yeah.
over there cleaning
Clean.
every single night. It's a waste of resources, as far as I'm concerned, to keep that building.
And they also utilize the office, that the youth bureau has. They've utilized that too, social services had for meetings over in Beulah too.
Oh, and I didn't know that, and that's great. I
That,
mean,
that first meeting room area,
Yep.
they've utilized that a few times too for meetings, so.
So I
And
think they're
what-
finding other places
Yeah.
to do this and not just right here.
But what's
Yeah, I hear-
what's odd is Oliver, Sheridan, and McLean, they're all in the office.
I know, Mercer's the only one that's not.
And we're the only ones sitting here.
I know.
And all I want to say is, just want to be a little cautious of what we do, because once the building's gone, she's gone. And like I says, we have a little bit different players here. You know, also Steve is not quite there, but he can retire any day of the week, you know?
Well, I do think
And-
that some of the employees that used to work here in this
Yeah.
office full-time are commuting to Washburn to work out of that office.
Probably, huh?
Which makes sense, because that is the head for our zone, is McLean County.
Right, yeah.
Well, I don't think we're gonna, my understanding and feeling is we're not gonna make a decision
Hopefully
about the
not
future of
today.
that building at this meeting or the next meeting, but I think we're gonna eventually have to, and I think doing a lot of renovation work to the building only to possibly sell it in 6 months to a year from now is I'm not in favor of that, put it that way, myself.
Okay.
I agree with Chairman.
Yeah.
4 more of you, that's for sure, but.
I also agree with Shanna that we need to look at this, because it may not be practical for us to continue using it. Going down the road, agreeing with both of those, maybe bring Steve in to see what their possible projections are, and then helping us with a decision, but that would be down the road also, as Gene mentioned.
And he can come in
Yeah.
during budget time, so
Yep.
maybe that's a good discussion to have with him at that point.
Well, and hopefully this whole thing about, you know, COVID and all this, they get a little better handle on that also. And but I think surely we can finish painting this thing. We got the paint purchased for it and touch that up. And then, like you said, I mean, we got 2 bathrooms there. If we do the vanity, if this thing's in operational, we can go to, you know, work around that too. It's,
Yeah,
you know,
but it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to let us know.
Yeah, they're
that
gonna have
if
to
they're
figure
gonna
it
want
out.
ever, and they gotta understand our stance on it, that, hey,
We gotta-
we can't have a building
Sit-
vacant here for 5 years because you might come back.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those other places have a separate building.
No,
They're all
no.
in the
No,
courthouse.
they're within the courthouse.
So, and he basically keeps leaving it up to this board of county commissioners on what you guys wanna do. I did have Jennifer sketch some numbers, based on the year of the building and the square footage and, Stanton's business market rate or whatever, and she'd come up with a value on that building for 166. So,
And not, let's, and just so that, it's not just social services moving in there. If we would have some other use for the building where we could utilize it, you know, if someone from
which I don't
basically
think
the
that's
county could,
The only possible foreseeable use right now would be social services, because we don't foresee any other use, and that is
Yeah.
tentative.
but I just wanna make that point, is it's not just social service, we own the building. If social services says, no, we're not going back in there, if we would have some other use for it, and if we don't have any other use for it, I think,
I really don't see any other use for it at this time.
so,
When do we do our normal bidding of like properties and things? Is that October?
Is that tax foreclosures?
Well, you know, like if we have certain sales of property, is that, The
Well,
tax
just
closing?
Just the tax foreclosures, that's the third Tuesday in November.
okay.
And then anything after that's for sale on a day-to-day basis until it's sold,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is that if we're advertising for properties and stuff, you know,
And I think
this,
that's a whole new chapter of Century Code we'd have to delve
Yeah.
into, because you wanted to use a realtor or all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Right.
And I think we would want, if we choose to move on this, we would wanna do that prior to the winter months when we'd have to pay heating bills over there.
Right.
and
Right.
Everything.
Steve Reiser would probably be that would probably be the first step to get him in here.
Yep.
To see what he really foresees happening.
And like again, like I mentioned, the thing is, we're dealing with a few different players, you know. We're dealing with the state of North Dakota with their reorganizing, and been around the block once in a while, and all of a sudden they decided, well, zone, this isn't working out quite as well, and we're gonna change the rules, you know. So that can happen, that may not happen, we don't know, and that's what's so tough
Yep.
in our situation. And here we're footing this bill of this wonderful building, and, we'll just have to see where this goes, I guess.
yes.
And then the day before we had expanded here, you know, law enforcement needed room for various things. But today, we're doing good, so we're,
Just some of this stuff, I think we're, and you guys can correct me, continue with the painting as time allows.
Okay.
Don't do any renovations until the board.
Well, I guess, my biggest question is, you know, on a time frame, like Steve emailed me back, he said if you as a commission prefer that they start having presence at the office, he can do that. So I don't know, is that something that is wanted or not? If not, you know, I got more time. If you as a commission feel you want presence in that building, then I would need to get it done sooner, but he said it'd work either way for him.
At this time, no, and then we'll go with
Okay.
Shanna's suggestion, and we'll bring him in at budget time and see what the possibilities are.
Okay, I'll just let you know when we get the painting done, and
sure.
we're gonna do carpets and deep cleaning on that, and then we'll be done, and
Okay,
I'll just let you know, and then,
If they
Yep.
need to come in for some reason and you guys are in the midst of cleaning carpets or whatever, we have this big conference room right here.
well,
that
it's
we
a
utilize.
kind of a disaster right now, cause things are all
Everything
over,
we
so,
utilize right now, this
Yeah.
conference room
Right.
isn't utilized.
right.
Okay, that's where we'll stand on the we won't make
Okay,
any
so no-
movement on the social service
No
building. as of
flooring or
today.
no nothing, just painting and
Yep.
finish that up. Okay.
Okay, update on tax and financial software.
I have been in touch with CT. The last time I emailed them was last week. They are getting a package together of prices. First, they needed to work with Armor and get in on the backside of our system to see exactly what we have. So Armor was working with getting them a VPN and stuff to get in to see what they were looking at. And then I'd asked them, since they're still doing majority of their meetings over Zoom, that if we could maybe coincide with a commission meeting and do a Zoom presentation in front of the board at the same time, as well as the departments that use it, so that we're all on the same page, same day. But they're working a price quote right now, so.
Okay.
And then my next step would be to get them in on a Zoom meeting that we can all attend.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we would do that like a special meeting Zoom
No, I think
or?
we would
the-
try to get it right just during a regular commission meeting.
Okay, is there some way to have them on the TV?
We'll figure it out.
Okay,
We'll try to figure it out.
Curious, why wouldn't they come up here and give us the
Well,
presentation?
we'll just go over to social service and use their T1.
Because, well, they could, I guess, but
Get Jim,
they're not gonna have a computer set up in here. You know, they do it over Zoom, you're gonna be able to see their computer screen, you're gonna be able to see their,
And they can upload whatever they wanna show you, they can go through
Right.
the program.
They can bring in a computer, we can tie it into the screen and still put it up there?
well, I don't know, I just thought Zoom would be the easiest. I
Okay.
didn't know that they needed to be here in person.
Well, you can ask them what the possibilities are. Sometimes it's, the, security of your system may not allow them to just drop a computer in here, and there might be some steps to that.
I'm
Marvin.
thinking about what we did in the courtroom to get stuff to work over there, and
Wasn't a
to
good
have
day.
somebody bring in a laptop and just hope to plug it in.
Yeah, that
So it's
doesn't.
not as easy as it
It's not that
sounds.
easy.
one
It took
program
us
don't
days
read
and
the other,
multiple
does it?
departments to
Yeah.
get that
And they
figured
might
out.
have firewalls
Yeah.
over blocks.
40
Oh,
minutes.
sure.
From my
Oh, yeah,
experience
security
of,
wall,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Yep,
of
it gets
computers,
crazy.
you,
With Zoom,
like,
you can just share your screen.
like in West River, you
Sure.
can't just bring a computer in.
Yep,
No.
yep, that sounds
That will
right.
not happen.
Okay?
There's steps that
We
need to
still
take
get
place.
snail mail, but we
Gotcha.
still listen too.
Okay, anything else on the tax and financial software? Portfolio updates, I'll start with me, I have none. Okay, I've been gone, so there's really, we're still at one person in the,
Clerk's office.
there you go, clerk of courts. I talked with, Sheriff's Department, there's a couple things going on there, they'll update us later if they need to, so, other than that, I have nothing else. Myron?
Just know which end you were gonna start on. I only have one, and I did attend the evaluation of Craig Askham at the Extension Agency. I think that took almost 2 hours. Very thorough job. And it was very educational, and that's all I have.
Travis?
Okay, I was at the McLean Mercer, Regional Library, they met the last Monday in March. They're kinda just going through their routine stuff, making sure they got periodicals and everything. Got introduced to everybody, it's the first meeting they've had since, I think, November. We'll have another meeting the last Monday of this month, so, I guess as far as things going forward, you know, when they get close to their budget season, kind of coincides with ours. I believe the county levies a certain amount of tax with them, and McLean does the same. The only question they had is kind of the ongoing maintenance of what they call their bookmobile. I haven't had a chance to connect too much with the maintenance people yet to kind of figure out. From my understanding, Mercer County does like the oil changes and things like that, so I don't think there's any formal agreement. There was a situation, I guess, this winter when she had some dead batteries and she had a hard time getting assistance with that, so I'll dig into it further, but I just thought I'd bring it up. And Water Resource meets, is that next Thursday? This coming Thursday? Tomorrow? Okay. At 3:00. And I am gonna be in Benedict for possibly the next 6 to 8 weeks, and I'll try to work around things as much as I can, but day job kinda sucks. And that's all I have.
Liza?
Ambulance board met, and probably the biggest discussion at that was the pay rate for the PRN for the paramedic. So that was increased, and to see if we can get a few more people in there. They're really struggling to get paramedics that can come in as PRNs. They're struggling with staff over there, actually. So we may be looking at some other options too, as far as different levels that they have. Then I think you all noticed that Candy got the roof put on at the landfill out there. So she was showing me pictures of it. It turned out very nice. And Western Steel Builders did a really nice job on that. And then the last thing I was gonna bring up, I didn't bring it up last time because I actually wasn't part of the meeting, but there's a meeting with the auditor's office and at the Office of the State Tax Commission. And I know that Marvin, you were present and that Jean was present, and I didn't know if we wanted to bring up anything that was there or not, just because I wasn't there, but we did get an email on it, and then Marvin, I see that you had
Mhm.
put some replies in on that, so.
I'll wait till you're done.
No, go ahead.
Okay, in regard to what Liza just mentioned, does anybody have any questions about those two letters? I'll be glad to explain my letter.
Go ahead.
Well, I just sent a letter that there were some errors on the letter that they sent to that Kimberly sent out. In the first big major bullet item, we talk about levy 1204 and 1201. Well, you go down, farther down, and she's talking about levy 1233, and I'm not sure where she got that number at. That probably should have been 1204. And then the other thing, she says Ms. Bros recognizes some changes that are recommended. I don't know what those were. I requested the information. I guess I would like to learn what those recommendations were. And the very last thing that I put on there is, it says Mr. Schwer related dissatisfaction with signing of the budget after approval. I never have any dissatisfaction with signing the budget after it was approved. My dissatisfaction was changing the budget after it was approved and signed. That's all I have.
I think it was a pretty interesting meeting. A lot of it was like way over my head. And they said that there were some recommendations they made to Shanna. And there were a couple changes, and she understands those changes. But other than that, everything was in order. There were nothing out of order, just a couple abnormalities, and they're gonna, those are gonna be, I hate to use the word corrected because it wasn't wrong, but they're gonna be adjusted to what and I think some of it had to do with current century code stuff. Or
Well,
legislation,
right,
with
there
current
was
legislation.
I think one of the best takeaways from it was they explained that you can add 1 + 3 to get 4. You can also add 2 + 2 to get 4. Neither is wrong. And so there might be a different approach, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. And they also clarified, they don't necessarily oversee anything we do. They're there for support potentially and insight, but we are to be trying to deal within ourselves, to fix things, rectify things. So, I don't know, that, again, I agree with you that there wasn't anything.
Right. So if you're asking for some specifics, I can't think of anything real specific. Well, there's one, and it had to do with road tax. And that adjustment we need to make going forward as of 2015, the first 10 mills, see if I say this correctly, the cities don't get any of the first 10 mills. And they get a percentage of the mills between 10 and 20, and then after 20 mills, they receive nothing.
But the mills from 10 to 20 have to be voter approved by our voters, so we haven't done that, so we would never levy over 10 mills for county road.
So we're not over 10, so that was an oversight, that'll be corrected, so it's, and that is what was brought up with our treasurer, that we need to have our state's attorney give us an opinion on.
And
If
that's
we-
for the next.
Yeah, next meeting, if we're gonna make that adjustment, and my understanding would be, meaning we would no longer make those payments for prior years. Other than that, yeah, I started taking notes, but they ended rather quickly. Okay, anything else, Liza?
Nope, I just wanted to make sure that we brought that up. Like I said, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend that meeting, so I appreciate you stepping in for me, Jean, on that one.
Not a problem. Thank you.
But I just wanted to make sure that we brought it up so that everybody was aware that meeting did occur.
Wayne?
I don't have too much. The weed board will probably be meeting this coming week or so, and the airport is also gonna be meeting here, and I believe we have bids out, and we'll be checking or receiving bids on our overlay on the airport runway then. So when I get that nailed down, I'll bring it back to you guys and let you know.
The overlay, you mean like on the runway itself?
On the
Okay.
runway itself.
Okay.
Yeah, the bids are supposed to be coming in this meeting here, or this, yeah, and we'll see how we are. So that looks like that might be going forward. Other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay. Beans, we're at the end of the agenda, nothing else, meeting adjourned.